Now, page 4, the high school science project origin to this medieval draconian political response to COVID-19. Self-isolation, locking down families, house arrest, social distancing. These are the methods currently being used by our governments to ostensibly control the spread of the Wuhan coronavirus, and they have their roots in the Middle Ages. That's right, during the Black Plague seemed the only way to avoid becoming one of the 200 million people killed by this virus in Europe, Asia, and North Africa was to isolate. Avoid all contact with other people. Don't socialize. Keep your distance. Does all this sound familiar? America has revived a medieval method of mitigating a virus that now clearly has a proven mortality rate no worse than the seasonal flu. Congratulations, Dr. Fauci. You have set medicine back 700 years. But this back to the future social bloodletting approach to the Wuhan coronavirus also has some more recent roots. During the Bush 43 administration, a couple of government doctors looked back at the dark ages and said, hey, that's our new model for dealing with a pandemic. So they borrowed upon what the Italians did in the 14th century. Their plan? Stop living life. Eat only to survive, while attempting to essentially wait out the plague. Yep, these doctors came up with one half of the model that we are using today. Don't go to school. Don't go to work. Don't socialize. These two doctors only consulted themselves to come up with this plan. They didn't ask for input from economists or psychologists. No, that's because, like Anthony Fauci, they know better than the rest of us poor suckers. They only consulted scientists. Now, I said these doctors came up with one half of the current lockdown, shutdown, shakedown model that has been imposed on the American people. So what about the other half? Well, it just so happens it is compliments of a high school science experiment. I kid you not. A sophomore in high school by the name of Laura Glass. She, along with guidance from her scientist father, ran computer models, estimating how people interact and how often they do it. This 14-year-old science project estimated the spread of a virus could be diminished if people kept their distance from one another. In fact, Ms. Glass's name is even appearing in the foundational transformational publication that argues for forced human separation and lockdowns. Its title is Targeted Social Distancing Designs for Pandemic Influenza. Yes, you heard it, social distancing. Laura Glass's high school science experiment is now the foundation for the 2016 government document that today is serving as the basis for how 330 million Americans are forced to live our lives. Astounding, isn't it? Sounds like the plot of a 1980s movie, a box office bomb starring one of the Brat Pack, only it's real. All right. So what does this prove? Well, it proves that these theories embraced by local governments becoming the basis for what Cuomo and Newsom and Pritzker and Sisolak and Grisham and Inslee and Whitmer and Murphy and Lamont and Cooper and Northam and Wolf and Ige and Polis and Bashir and Brown and Evers have executed and foisted on residents of these blue states have very little to do with science and medicine, but everything to do with computer models and politics. And they are rooted in throwback beliefs and practices of a time when prisoners were subjected to torture by the rack and the Iron Maiden. A medieval draconian response to a virus, incredibly, based on a high school student's science project. And speaking of high school, here's old Barack Obama himself back at it again, fueling class warfare with his virtual national commencement speech.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.